Alright, so I wanted to go ahead and make a video because there's a lot of talk about the Stop Killing Games petition, the whole game preservation movement, and so on. I'm going to be very, very honest. Game preservation has been at highs and lows over the past maybe 15, 20 years. Nintendo doing this is not because they're against you. This is just to save money for the goddamn publisher, okay? Because they're the ones creating the carts for said game. It's like Sony owning Blu-ray, and they're charging a flat rate to everybody in regards of that Blu-ray. So the thing about these cards, they're kind of expensive, right? So, you know, there's some kind of crazy report out there saying that it's about $16 to make a Switch 2 cart. So that means this. You know what I mean? This wonderful little plastic piece. And they came up with these two options. Is either you put the whole game in the cart, or Game Key. A lot of companies are doing Game Key because obviously it's going to be cheaper, right? So, on your end, what you're going to do and what you shouldn't do, and I guess my opinion on this situation. I'm going to be very honest with you. I've been doing game preservation for years in certain games and certain consoles, and I feel like it is very, very, very important to do it. I'm going to tell you a reason why. I have PS3 games. Oh, that's a PS4 game. PS3 games that you can't find, or they're hard to find. You know, Prototype. It's already on PC, but still a PS3 copy of it. Grand Theft Auto 4, and that is the Liberty City Stories. This is actually, believe it or not, it still has the original soundtrack on there. Whoa, drop that. I'll pick it up in a minute. The Metal Gear Solid, the HD collection. Very important. This damn game, this one game, that it's still pretty pristine. This damn game has been stuck on the PS3 for God knows how long already. Since the inception of the PS3. There's rumors they're stating that in the Master Collection Volume 2 for Metal Gear Solid, this will be coming on. If that happens, people are gonna buy the shit out of it, because this son of a bitch right here has been stuck on the PS3 since launch of the PS3. That's how important to preserve these games, I'm telling you. You know, there's some other games, you know, the remake, when they brought back Mortal Kombat. You know, the original Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. They did a remaster, but these are the originals. Call of Duty. And this is the golden age of Call of Duty, okay? This is before the microtransaction bullshit they feed you. You have actual campaigns to play, and they're pretty damn fun. 3 was whatever, but you know, this is the Modern Warfare era still stands today. Then you got the Call of Duty for Black Ops, Ghost, World at War. You know what I mean? First Black Ops right there. Resistance. This right here, this game hasn't been redone. This is an IP that Sony went into real hard, and they never went back. They're not remaking this. They're not remastering this. It's stuck on the PS3. The original Dead Space, the original Last of Us. This is the one I played when it released. I didn't replay the remaster, even though it was a nice upgrade when it went to the PS4. It was a nice little touch. when the PS4 released and it was a digital thing or whatever. But this game still was fucking awesome when it released. Killzone, for God's sake. God of War. These original games haven't been touched at all since the PS3, okay? You know what I mean? The God of War itself, it's so fun. Ascension right here. Original Dark Souls. This is the OG. This is the original. Dark Souls 2. You know what I mean? Little Big Planet. That now Astro Bot is like basically a new thing. But that's... Little Big Planet was a thing on the PS3. They didn't bring this back. Yeah, there's little hints here and there, but they haven't bring this whole thing back. Shit, even this game. Even though it's a PC title now, whatever, but it was actually pretty cool for its time. You know? Like, I have a bit of history right here, and I own it, and it works. And preserving your games, it's really important. Because, let's just say you want to get rid of them. Let's say there's something else that's eyeing your eye. You know what I mean? There's just, you want to collect something else. You want to own another piece of retro stuff or whatever. Because technically now, at this point, PS3 is considered retro. PS2, PS1, all that's retro. Okay? It's not like how in the early 2000s when we still remember the NES, Super Nintendo and all that, and the Atari. That's like we thought was retro. Now, those are ancient now. And this is goddamn retro right here. Like, look. Like, hold on. Now we got like the PS4, and I tried with the PS4 as much as I could, but this is when I got into PC gaming. You know what I mean? Like, one dead game right here. This was early signs of physical media could not mean anything down the line. Battleborn. This was a pretty cool game, and it is dead now. Why? Because it just didn't sell. They have the right to shut the game down, and that's it. There was no point anymore. So, you know what I mean? Some of these games here, they actually have the physical game in the disc, and you don't have to worry about anything. Right here, it's, you know, the Metro Redux of those two games. You know, there's some weird, obscure games I had. Wolfenstein: The New Order. You know, for fun facts, Wolfenstein is not on the Switch 2, or a Switch at all. Only the second game. Ain't that weird? You know what I mean? Shit. Zombie Army Trilogy right here on the PS4. This game got freaking remastered and done so many times, it's everywhere. But I still have it right here. I can still play the damn thing. That's why I'm gonna be honest with you, I did a video where I showed off the Resident Evil 4, and I don't feel as bad buying a digital because I already have it. You know what I mean? Like, I could justify that, you know, saving like $5 or whatever to buy it digital. You know, Evil Within, Metal Gear 5, The Phantom Pain, God of War. You know, when God of War was out, I actually have Ragnarok in its case. Uncharted 4, Raiden 5, that actually was a pretty good game. You know, Wildlands from fucking Ubisoft. Ubisoft, of all people. This game was actually pretty damn fun, and you know what? You're still able to play it without online. You can literally just play the whole campaign. And it's a good time. I got the remaster, Dark Souls 2. That was like a micro remaster, and then this it was not even a remaster. It was just you know, the game came out on the PS4. Ghost of Tsushima, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn. I was one of those crazy people that bought No Man's Sky at the very beginning, and you know what? I knew they were going to come through. And I could still play it on the PS4. I could download everything right now with this. Now, you want the best experience? To be honest with you, No Man's Sky's graphics are not the most toughest things to start off on the PS4, to be really honest. So, you could play better, or you could just play it on that. Shoot, I even saw that the Switch 2 version, it's actually pretty decent. And you got a free upgrade because the company did it. You know what I mean? You know, the Spyro trilogy right here, the original, when they redid this, which was actually pretty cool. Ratchet and Clank, I think this is like a reboot. Tony Hawk, right here, 1 and 2. Battlefield 1. Now, when it comes down to some of these newer like Battlefields, you play for the online, all right? Because obviously they don't have like campaigns, or if they do, it's like very minor. And I think this was the last one that did it, you know. And then Spider-Man, which was a pretty good game, and Days Gone, which was another cool game that was on the PS4, and you're able to play without the online. It's very important that this stuff matters to people now, and train people, you know, what you're gonna collect, or, you know, don't buy, you know. Because Nintendo, I will say this about Nintendo, they put their games on the cart for you to have. Because one day they already know they're going to shut down. And they made a big old announcement when the 3DS store went down. They made a big old announcement when the Wii U store went down. You know, certain games shutting down and all that. So, even one day, big old Nintendo with the Switch ecosystem will shut down eventually. I actually have a key. So, I actually have a key to get the game. The only thing is, it's not on the cart. This is an equivalent of a PC game back in the early 90s, 2000s. So, the PC game will just have a code in the box. And there's like some install disk, and they do this proprietary thing. Well, it'll tell you, they'll bring up a screen and it'll tell you enter the serial code for your game. That's it. This is basically this, but forget the code. The cart is your code. I'm not mad at Nintendo for this option. I'm more or less like, it's whatever. And there's a certain aspect of collecting where you're gonna have to make the decision on which games to buy, physical or digital, and that's really on you. You know, we have the power with our money to buy certain things. For the most part, besides Mario Maker 2, all these games I own. You know, it's up to you to make those decisions on what you're going to buy and not buy. Now, I'm wondering down the line when, say, some person's going to sell this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell this as a game key card, whatever. It's not tampered with. Right now, there's no way to hack the Switch 2 or pirate games for said console. So, this is just the code, like a little chip of showing you that, hey, you own the game for that. But this is like the last bastion of anything, besides you just owning the hardware itself. Because the day they do away with this and they just do downloads only, that's it. It's done. And then you're gonna rely on that marketplace to be open for a set amount of time before it shuts down. The PS3 went down. Xbox 360 went down. It's a miracle PS4, PS5 is, well, obviously PS5 is right now, but the PS4 is still going. But eventually, they're going to announce, hey, the PS4, PSN store is going to go down. That's eventually, it's just, they're just not going to support it because why? They're just making new hardware. New stuff comes out every time with new graphics and new pieces of hardware for you to play the game. You want to, you want all the graphics, you want all the storage, you want the better networking. That it's just what happens. Besides PC gaming, where PC gaming, they just have a requirement of certain hardware for you to have. Once you have the hardware, you can just play the game. But for consoles, this has just been a thing for a long time, and this goes all the way back to the NES days. You know, you make that decision of what you're going to buy, what you're not going to buy. I would say for Nintendo fans, we're in good luck because the Switch ecosystem just got boosted because the Switch 2 is in that ecosystem. All these games work out of the box. There's a few they're still tinkering with, but for the most part, they're updating them right now, which is really, really convenient. But for the most part, Nintendo's doing a lot with this already existing ecosystem that we have. I will say, if there's games that you want, if you're able to get them physical, do it. Just do it. Because the day that they stop selling that copy, the day that there's no surplus of copies of a certain game, then the secondhand market is going to be like, oh, well, they don't make this game anymore. Okay, we're gonna sell this game for fucking $100. Have a nice day. And that's just the way it goes. So, if you have opportunity to get the games you can right now, do it. Because they're only going to make so many copies. Like my PS3 version of Metal Gear Solid 4, where it only released on the PS3, where I know that I can look it up right now for a physical copy of Metal Gear Solid 4. It's super expensive. Because people value it that much. Because there's not many copies in the whole marketplace for it. So that's what ends up happening, especially like this wonderful game that I only paid MSRP. The Super Mario 3D All-Stars game. That's an example right now in the current ecosystem that Nintendo did themselves. Going for what? $125, $200 brand new, when you could have just got the game when it released. And you know what? Here's the crazy funny thing about this. I went to stores, I shop, wherever, and I saw piles and piles and stacks of this game at this price. And people, because I guess there was like an outrage a little bit about, oh, it's only a limited time buy or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then, push comes to shove, it gets off the market, it's off the digital store, and there goes the price. And then you want to collect it, or you just want to own it to play the game, because this is an awesome collection. 64 Sunshine, which my very first time playing, because I never played it on the GameCube, and Galaxy, and some of their graphics are actually a bit upgraded. And I'm going to tell you right now, even on the Switch 2, when you play this, it's a lot smoother. You're going to want to own this. You're going to want to play Sunshine on the Switch 2 and go, and just have fun. But no, Nintendo said a limited time only. And yeah, you have to pay now $125 to $200 just for a copy of this game. You might get lucky. You might get lucky somewhere at a pawn shop. You might get lucky finding a friend. They'll just say, you know what? Let me have some of that copy or whatever. But I'm telling you. They just stop producing certain games, you like for an example, to add to this, Doom, the Doom 2016, which I have digitally, I have it on my PS4, I have it on the Switch. It was $3.99 on the store. You know, physically, that game is about like 75, 50 bucks to get physically for the Switch. And then when it came to the Doom Eternal game, Limited Run did a release on that game. Bethesda, Xbox, they didn't want to do a physical release. You know how much that's going right now for Doom Eternal? $125. It's a damn shame, because there's everyday gamers that want to just play the games and actually own it. You know? So, if I were you, if you already have your games and you want to keep them, just keep them. Take care of them. These little chips are worth money, but it's the fact that they have the games that you want to play. So, yeah. That's it's unfortunate that it's coming to this point where companies they're squeezing every penny they can and then some, because it's business. And at the end of the day, it's business. It's about money. You can say greed, whatever you want to say, but it's business for them. Why I'm going to produce a copy of this, right? A physical. Spend money on the cart. You know, have an internal team to make the box art, where we could just do this online, and that's it. Call it a day. Businesses are squeezing everything they can, and they will do it. So if I were you, if you just want to have a good stack of games for you to play in any console, not just the Switch, but in any console, I think you should start doing it now before it comes to an end. The end, I don't know when's the end gonna come for physicals, but what it's showing right now with things like this, it's you know, it's coming to an end. And if you're a new gamer, certain systems right now, like the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, the PS4, those are the good systems right now, because they're still active, they're still online, and there's a lot of it. There's just a lot of it. So you're able to do that, you know. But when it comes to like older stuff, retro, it's hard. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and the market does this. The whole like retro market, it just does this. You might find deals. You might find some cool people. They say, you know what, they're just trying to offload because, you know, they're collecting for something else, or maybe they're just trying to get rid of it because his inventory is just sitting for them. They're not making money, and eventually that will happen. But like, I'm just saying, you know, you never know with those older consoles. But the resale market is a bit weird, and you find some good stuff, and you find some just real expensive games. So, yeah. I think I'm done yapping about it. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. And I just, with game preservation, I love video games. I love to have them, own them. And I think everyone should have that option to own them. That's my thought on it. So if I were you, do what you can, if you can. That's all I got on this. Peace.